Two, one. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Charm City Beat. It is the divisional round. Two MVP candidates collide as Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens travel up to Buffalo to take on Josh Allen and the Bills. Guys, how are we feeling? Off of a victory against the Steelers, 28-14. How y'all feel about this team?
I think that this is the game everyone's been waiting for. Patrick Mahomes, no, sorry, getting ahead of myself there. Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson, the two top MVP candidates. This time it's in Buffalo after we dog walked them in week 4, ran all over them week 4. Now the big question is the Bills have a bunch of players coming back. How would that make up any type of difference here, and can the Ravens repeat?
Oh, I keep seeing, especially Bills fans on Twitter, they've been very fun this week. They seem to, like Jordan pointed out, well, yeah, this guy missed. We had Marcus Williams playing safety. We had a guy on a team named Eddie Jackson. We didn't have Michael Pierce. Linderbaum was hurt that game. Both these teams are different. They're just different. They are. We were the worst passing team, and we were worried about that game, and we made Josh Allen look like crap.
Yeah.
He got benched, and we were all like, oh, what is our worst ranked passing defense going to do? We're number one most, but yeah, everyone's pointing out, you play the Giants. Well, we still did it.
Yeah.
We were getting dog walked by everyone else before that.
Yep. No, to what you said, the defense was probably at one of their worst. We didn't really have a true identity, even on the offense to a certain degree. I think we were starting to understand what that was. It to me, it bodes well. I saw a meme, actually. It said something like Baltimore is Buffalo's like worst matchup. Buffalo is Kansas City's worst matchup, and Kansas City is apparently ours worst matchup. And it's rock, paper, scissors game that's been going on in the NFL for the last 4 years. So, I mean, based on history, I like our odds. I like this team. I love this team. I love just their heart. And I think that and the size of this team, good God, you got Derrick Henry at like 250. He's a defensive end just playing running back out there. Matt, it bodes well for us.
Yeah, the big question is the Bills play primarily in nickel, which means 5 defensive backs on the field. They love to go light up, and I don't think they're going to change the way they play necessarily to face the Ravens here, who are probably going to go heavy quite a bit, probably more than they probably would normally. They went heavy a ton last week against Pittsburgh. I think this is going to be their postseason identity, is go big or go home, literally. And I think that's probably what's going to happen here. And so the Bills are going to have to get physical. They're going to have to get aggressive. They're going to have to make risks on defense. For a team that, has a tremendous nickel corner that named Johnson, he may not even be playing a lot in this game because you can't afford to have a freaking extra corner on the field when you're throwing Patrick Ricard out there and having a third tight end out there or putting a 6th defensive lineman on the field. So I think that's what we're dealing with. It's interested to see what the Bills and Ravens do here, but I think the Ravens have an advantage from that perspective.
Yeah, I think it was Kyle Brandt was breaking it down. There's times where we have 10 of our offensive players on the field are 250 plus. The only one who isn't is Lamar. That is including our offensive line, our 2 tight ends, whichever ones they are, and then, Pancake in the backfield. The smallest person on the field is Lamar at that point.
I think the Ravens have spent the last 6 years just trying to organize the NFL's version of the Monstars. Literally just sheer bodies. And I mean, no discredit to the Bills. They're a professional NFL team, but again, that size. And if we're not trying to be out there being cute, again, I say it every fucking week, playing Ravens football, what's up? There's nothing that really is in our way.
And the Bills are obviously bringing back Milano, who I think is 5 linebacker in this league, but he's on the lighter side. He's a much better sideline sort of pass covered linebacker than he is get in your face and hit people. They have a really good defensive lineman, Ed Oliver, who I think could make life a little miserable for how do you say it, falafel, a guard. I feel like our guard play is probably our weakest part of the O-line. I think Macari is a better pass protector than he is a run. But also, who gives a shit? Like, we're just going to pound it down your throat. And so I just feel like they're not ready for it. And even if they make one play, they got to make another one. And they got to stack defensive plays. And I just don't think that's possible when you don't even know who's got the ball until, like, Lamar Jackson runs this way. Like, the last touchdown run that Henry had last week against Pittsburgh.
That was nasty.
They held that ball so long that he took 3 defenders with him and wide open middle of the ground. And I think that's just they put that on tape. They put the direct snap on tape with Lamar running. They're not going to have another wrinkle with that. Probably they're going to bring
He's
back.
getting the ball one day. He's getting the ball soon.
It'd be incredible. And I think
just come on.
He's going to pass it.
I think the big part of that game was the fact that Lamar Jackson held it like the first 4 carries or something. Like he established that he was going to be a force on the ground in this game, and it forced Pittsburgh to make business decisions on every single play. And I think if they do that again, the Bills are going to have trouble figuring out who's got him because I think they're not as familiar with the Ravens as Pittsburgh is. I don't think they're as good in their front seven as Pittsburgh is. And I know Pittsburgh was coming in and they were all kind of messed up in the head and stuff, but still Pittsburgh. It's still Ravens Steelers. And so I just wonder about the Bills' mindset and if they can take 4 quarters of just 245-pound running back hitting them in the face repeatedly.
No, you're right. Like I said, they got Matt Milano back. But one of the last times that they played each other, Lamar put Matt Milano on skates. This is one of his better jukes.
My favorite gift, by the way.
And also, Ed Oliver played week 4, and we just blindsided him with so many random blocks. He had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, tight end pulls and
just unexpected. He's about to go like, I got this guy. Then all of a sudden, we got a guy crashing down on him from the side. Who hit me?
Todd Monken and this is why you brought Todd Monken in 2 years ago. And I think it took a year for all the players to sort of get into it. And then I think it took getting Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson out in his second year to get it to where they're executing on a wild efficiency right now.
Yeah.
To the tune of 35 points or something. It's some not ridiculous number. I think it's even more compounded in the playoffs where everything's magnified. And so this offense, it's hitting, it's sharp. It's 17 weeks now that we're doing 18 weeks. And I think Derrick Henry they held him up all year, I think, almost to the destitute of this football team.
Yeah.
Get him where he is now.
Look,
25, 30 carries.
Like I said, their offensive game plan this week. Run some more.
Yep.
Henry, past four games, almost 100 carries, 633 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Insanity.
And you want to know what's so beautiful about the Ravens run game? And actually, honestly, it's their entire playbook. It's this feeling of just like backyard football, a lot of misdirection. Again, shit you really can't replicate in practice until you're out on the field.
No, the Bills went out and signed one of our backup quarterbacks from a year ago to try to replicate Lamar.
It just
Anthony, whatever.
Yeah, like it's absolutely incredible. You know, again, just their gameplay, not just the side. Most teams you're a heavy, strong running game. You just run straight or you run this way or that way. It's just you don't know who's going to get the ball at any given moment, and that bodes well for us. Again, you're taking one of their corners out of the game, one of the best players out there at that position, and I just don't think they have the bodies to match up against it. I mean, I don't know, but
I mean, the other part of this is that we've barely mentioned Lamar Jackson, which is wild. He is and we'll get to the Bills, obviously, but he's the MVP favorite. And it's because of what he's doing with his arm as much as he's doing with his legs. And I think his ability to bootleg, get out, and on plays where he could run or pass, he's become extremely accurate, extremely, deadly with that pass and the way he's just finding receivers. And even Zay Flowers, I don't know, we're going to hear from Ross a little bit about Zay Flowers, but like Bateman proved last week, he only had 2 catches. He still made an impact with his touchdown. They've got 2 really, really good tight ends, including Mark Andrews, who scored 9 touchdowns in 8, some number like that in 8 games, something ridiculous stat.
Freaking Isaiah Likely, who just put a man's head underground.
Yeah.
Like
basketball.
Bounce his head. Why you disrespect a man like that?
It's just ridiculous. And so I think that's another thing that they're going to be terrified of on tape is that they go back and they watch what Lamar Jackson did to teams like, I don't know, the Buccaneers, what he did to Denver, where he just like 5 touchdown passes. And it's like the dude can do it if you don't play him well enough. And so I think we kind of held him back last week because we didn't need to do anything with him. Like we established the run. I think the Bills, the game could go the same way that did in week 4. We don't have to throw the ball that much because we don't have to throw the ball that much. Play action is probably going to be enough to get the job done.
I think so. And I hear the weather's supposed to be like 10 degrees. I don't know about you, but I don't want to tackle a 250-pound running back or fucking Lamar Jackson for all that matter because he'll throw you too. He's strong as shit.
I don't want to tackle anyone.
He's a powerful runner. Again, this year of Lamar has been so different. We're used to the flashy, real silky smooth running style, but we're seeing some adult runs, some like I will throw you on the sideline runs. And it's amazing. It's the Derrick Henry effect.
I do love that everyone's getting on the stiff arm action now, and everyone's getting in on
Do it.
the blocking downfield action. I mean that's what we got to do to beat the Bills offensively. What do we have to do defensively? Do you guys think
I think defense. Me and you were talking about this before the show. Again, Kyle Van Noy and Adafe Owe are going to have to literally have, I think, the greatest game by any defensive end ever to contain Josh Allen. Again, you're also going to need Matabike up front, Michael Pierce to clog holes. Again, the D line, it's going to be the fundamental of this game. All eyes on the D line, without a doubt. Again, our secondary, Kyle's going to do it. Kyle's going to make it happen. But what Josh Allen can do, again, it's similar to Lamar Jackson, where if they get outside the pocket, if they get in space, hey, it's anybody's game. Again, it bodes well for our defense because they're used to playing against Lamar and a player similar to that. They both for different styles, very similar quarterbacks with different styles. But yeah, I think it starts up front.
Yeah, both teams are similar in that they both had the ball for over 40 minutes last week. I think the Bills were around 50 minutes, which is an obnoxious number, 60-minute game.
That's crazy.
I think I don't see either offense being able to do that quite as effectively. I think both teams have pretty good run offenses, though. They're probably 1-2 in the league, to be honest with you. I don't think Cook gets enough accolades for the season.
I thought all I hear that all they have is Josh Allen. That's all I hear.
That's all you do here.
Except this week. But we have James Cook now. Wait, now you didn't have him before, but what is it, guys? You have weapons, you don't have weapons. Make up your mind.
I think while they no longer have Stephon Diggs, shout out Maryland Terrapins. I think as the benefit of that, it's a pick and poison as far as who you can throw to. He has a ton of receivers. I think Amari Cooper is the highlight reel there, but I think anyone can step up, which I think is actually a dangerous thing for the Ravens secondary, in that you don't know. You can't just laser in on like a Jamar Chase, who apparently didn't work anyway. But like I feel like Stevens is going to be hit on a little bit in this game. I think that's our weak link, obviously. But I mean, I think we have enough talent on that side of the ball, and Roquan's playing the best ball he's had all year. I'm cautiously optimistic that the Bills aren't going to be able to put up as many points as the Ravens.
Again, I think it's going to be reminiscent of like the old school Steeler Ravens games that we used to see, just very hard hitting. It's going to be a very close game. I don't have a doubt in my mind that it won't be some type of very competitive game. It's just going to be a matter of the Ravens really keeping their foot on the gas. The Ravens can't come out flat. They just have to just be ready to just go. Let Lamar run. Let Derek run, some play action over the top. Defense just has to bring it. I just got to keep our foot on the gas. That's simple. I say that, and I'm not a player, so.
I mean, Vegas has it. The Ravens, the Bills have won 9 in a row at home. And there's somehow a home underdog, which is almost unheard of. I know it's a pick 'em game. Ravens are only favored by a point or whatever, but I think that's Vegas realizing that the Ravens are probably going to win by a lot more than that, and they've got to. I don't know. I just feel like they don't feel good about making a road team like that much, like in the betting thing. But I do feel like the Ravens have the ability to blow them out. I don't think the Bills can blow the Ravens out. I think it's going to be either close or the Ravens win big. I think that's the only two formulas that we're going to see here. Even though Lamar Jackson has not had good success in road games.
Yeah.
Really ever.
I do wonder, again, actually, let's talk about the injury report. Let's go into that. Ross, what we got, bro?
All right, well, Zay's doubtful, but they elevated Anthony Miller, so Zay's probably not playing.
Yeah, bro.
And DeAndre Hardy, I do not believe they activated him the IR, so he's questionable, but he will not be playing either because they obviously elevated Anthony Miller, who is more of a Zay Flowers type replacement. So Zay probably is not even going to go to Buffalo.
I personally don't have a problem with it. Again, the hit he took, it could have been worse. And
We're not going to need Zay for this type
We're
of
not.
game. We need big, heavy blockers.
It's going to be 10 degrees. No.
Yeah, I think we need Zay for Kansas City. If we get past the Buffalo Bills, Kansas City won earlier today against Houston. And I think that they're probably aware of this. And I think to Ross's point, we don't need Zay Flowers, and we didn't need him last week against Pittsburgh. I think they're gonna. I think they have enough weapons on offense. Even without Zay ever, they could probably do.
Week 4, he had 1 catch of 10 yards.
Right.
Derrick Henry had 199 yards.
I agree. I do think somewhere in there a little bit unspoken is the impact that Zay Flowers has on a secondary, even if he doesn't get catches.
Yeah.
I think it's the same with why Lamar Jackson's impact is so great for Derrick Henry's production. But you're not wrong. Like Derrick Henry obviously is the engine, and he had 199 yards against them. Was it? Have you said he had 199 against them? He had 199 Steelers, I think.
Steelers was 180. Steelers was 186. Team franchise record.
Okay.
Part of 299 should have been 300, but kneel downs count for negative rushing yards for some reason.
I will say this: the amount of attention that Zay Flowers commands, again from secondaries, being that he has taken these next steps, a lot of teams probably will disrespect the receiving game a bit because, again, Bateman, the most disrespected receiver in my opinion. Again, it's been a very valuable weapon. If you play us soft in the pass and you do go hard and run, let's say in theory they come prepared for the run. They've been preparing for the run all week. All right, fuck it. Bateman, go deep. Bateman has the best separation of any wide receiver in the NFL. And if you play us soft, well, we'll beat you deep. Again, we don't live in a world where we're holding our breath while Lamar Jackson throws the ball. we're very optimistic that it's going to get to the right guy.
Yeah, and you got someone who's that good in separation now with a quarterback so confident enough to scramble around to find him like he did with 11 seconds against the Steelers, which probably there was 72,000 plus people say, give it, stop, you're going to blow, never mind, touchdown. Good job.
Yeah.
You have those two things together, that's, yeah.
I do want to talk about it. You guys were both at the game last week. How was it? How was the environment? It didn't seem like your typical Steelers game where Steelers fans have infiltrated M&T Bank. It was probably the craziest fucking game I've seen.
That was the least yellow I saw behind the Steelers bench since I've been going to Steeler games.
It was fucking beautiful.
I think it did. I think it personified in a way like the way the Steelers felt going into that football game. Like I just feel like they weren't totally confident. I think the Steelers fans weren't confident enough to put money on the line or put themselves in that environment to get made fun of. I mean, it was a party. I don't know, Ross, what it was like where you were, but it was an absolute party where we were. People were just screaming the whole time and no one sat the entire game. Not one. I never sat once, and I think that's pretty awesome. And it was just a great time, like from the jump. Fuck you, Pittsburgh, baby.
Yeah, like it was absolutely magic. I mean, again, so many Ravens games you watch, and it's like you're watching from home, and it's like, are they even loud? Like, no, it was just constant, just noise. So much noise that Lamar Jackson wanted to quiet.
Yeah, well, he's trying to be quiet, but yeah, we kept bringing everyone. Brought the violin lady out. Our new unofficial mascot.
Bird.
All over the place now. Ray showed up out of nowhere.
You had the
even Harbaugh didn't know he was coming. Yeah. Harbaugh was like, that sounds familiar.
Is there any disadvantage? Well, yes, we're going into Buffalo, which is I think one of the harder places to play. Mafia, they're gonna not have shirts on in 90-degree weather.
We can go to the hospital.
Is the concern there, and also just playing on the road in general, but the weather also. Like, do you feel like Lamar really? I mean, the last time we kind of saw Lamar in Buffalo was not a good outing for him. Like, he got knocked the fuck out in the third quarter. So I'm just curious if you think that that's lingering, or if you think that he's beyond that, and like what concerns you about this game in that regard.
I honestly don't think that's going to be a factor. It will, but I don't think it's going to have the same effect as before. I think the Lamar Jackson of today is a much more mature, polished, developed quarterback. Real cool. Just real cool back there, having fun with his friends, is playing ball. I don't think necessarily it's going to have an effect. Because number one, I don't think the game plan is to pass, which is affected by probably calling routes and the stadium noise. And then you have to worry about the cold air. Oh my God, are the receiver's hands warming up? You're not going to have to worry about that. It's here you go, Derek. Maybe I'll take it. Oh, Mark Andrews, I see you open. That's it. It's going to be a very simple game plan. And I don't think they're going to try to be too cute. Again, I think the Ravens just can't afford to be.
Yeah. So from watching between Wired and Hard Knocks, which we will definitely get to later, you can see it's a different Lamar. You can see even after the Steelers score the touchdown, he was like, all right, let's go. Let's get it back. Let's go. I mean, anytime he does something they talk about, he's just like, yeah, okay, yeah, well, what are we looking at? So, and even the only reason they weren't practicing outside this week was because the ground was too frozen. Lamar all last week was like, no, we got to go outside. We got to go outside. I got to throw on it. They got to catch it. Harbaugh would have, but they're like, it's too frozen. Even the Bills were inside today.
I heard they opened the doors, put giant fans.
Oh yeah, they made it cold inside. It wasn't. Yeah, they like I said, they would have been outside. It was just you're not going to risk injury to get used to cold at the grounds. How the Bills practice inside most of this week.
I do think a big thing a few years ago was that we had Greg Roman calling plays. I think Lamar Jackson has matured so much more. They've given him way better weapons than he had then. I even think the run game back then, as prolific as it was very what's the word here? Like situational. Like I think my grandmother probably could have gotten 100 yards in that offense if she was behind. So I guess what I'm saying is like Derrick Henry alone is such a force, Hall of Fame, gold jacket, first ballot son of a bitch that
it's a big jacket.
They can probably play. They can go into it differently because you don't necessarily need a fullback in there. You don't necessarily need to be doing all of these things with the O line and I don't know. I just feel like you can really just hand it off and he's going to get you yards, and I think that's so big. The big difference mostly, but also the Todd Monken offense allowing it to happen because it's allowed Lamar Jackson to unlock that part of him that took 6 years to get. But wow.
How much money are we gonna have to pay Todd Monken to keep him? Because we got to Josh Daniel this guy. Like it's a marriage made in heaven. Just him and Lamar Jackson, and him trusting Lamar Jackson. Divert to do whatever the fuck he wants out there. I'm gonna be real perfectly honest with you. That the football that they play is not your X's and O's. It's not. It's all instinct. Mm-hmm. It's again, the Ravens football is a different type of football where you can't coach against it. It's all instinctual. It's fundamentally just insane because it goes against everything that you're taught about football, especially in a modern day game where passing is what it is. Again, you have Derrick Henry for 198 fucking rushing yards.
I think if you're a GM on any other football team, you've got to look at the big picture and be like, we don't have Lamar Jackson, we don't have Derrick Henry, we don't have Mark Andrews. Like, we probably have a rookie quarterback or your coach just got fired. So you either have fucking Aaron Rodgers, Caleb Williams. The Bears actually it's a pretty good situation for Todd Monken. They're probably going in a different direction. The Cowboys, you can make noise there. But I think there's not a lot of teams that can run this offense as prolific as it is in Baltimore. So that's what you're hoping for. You're probably going to get more like the Todd Monken who, had some success in Cleveland or some success in Tampa. And that's what I think. Like, Georgia was really good. Georgia had a tremendous roster. I think he needs a tremendous roster to be a tremendous coach.
Yeah. Yes, but remember, they almost the same thing with Mike Daniel last year. You're not going to have a Kyle Hamilton, a Roquan Smith, a Matt Abika having a friend there. But
Lamar Jackson ain't your quarterback elsewhere. Straight up.
No, he's one of one, which is why he's on pace to win his third MVP. I think he's probably the favorite after being first team All-Pro. And I think his mindset and Derrick Henry's mindset, it's very similar to what Ray Lewis and Ed Reed had in 2012, which was this is a window. And the fact that we're playing together on the football team, we've gotten to a place in the playoffs where, you know what, like we may never get back here. And so I think you're going to Derrick Henry might retire after this. Like, I don't even know what he's got playing. 31 years old, the old motherfucker. So I just feel like they might. I think they're thinking bigger picture. Like they obviously are more tuned in now than I've ever seen Lamar Jackson. and this is the most tuned in. I mean, I don't really follow Derrick Henry's career, but I feel like he's found a different thing because he kind of knows the clock is ticking and he's got a real chance here. And so I think the Bills aren't ready for what's coming down the fucking track tomorrow, Sunday rather.
Yeah.
And mostly Derrick Henry. I think Lamar Jackson's going to have a good game, but when you talk about the MVPs in this football game, it's going to be Derrick Henry. Like I think both quarterbacks. I think Josh Allen has a better game than Lamar Jackson because, to you guys' point, Josh Allen has to do more with less, but he doesn't have a Derrick Henry he can hand the ball 25 times to and get 200 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns like he had last week.
Yeah, like without a doubt. And also credit to what Ross is saying, he also doesn't have Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith, Marlon Humphrey, and the rest of that defense. Again, Ravens, one of the most complete teams yet again in the NFL. Thank you for an office. Talking about Hard Knocks, round the league, man. Hard Knocks. Wow, it's when is the season finale? I didn't realize.
Oh man, I think we'll keep going. It's the Ravens.
We're gonna keep it going, Gerald.
HBO just has clear.
It's the Ravens. It's the Ravens show now.
It's the Ravens show. Yeah, they'll play next week. They'll do Steelers locker room bullshit.
They'll do what they did with the Bengals and Browns.
We'll do Bengals and Browns hiring nonsense.
I don't even know the Bengals. They barely even show up. They did their locker room and who got fired last week.
Yeah. I need to be heavy on the Steelers. And the Chicago one team called in for Mike Tomlin. He was like, "No, I'm not going to Chicago. No trade clause." Yeah, but it does. I think Pittsburgh. It's weird that Pittsburgh has a good coach, and I guess their level of expectations are so high that they're fine with maybe a lot of fans don't want him there anymore, and it's like it is not pretty if you don't have a head coach. You're seeing what not having a quarterback is, and he's still getting into the playoffs. Like,
I mean, yeah, but I mean, hell, we want Harbaugh gone, and he wins in the playoffs.
Really, at this point, I'm okay.
Yeah, now we're fine with him. But what? Let's go back to look after the last AFC Champions game last year. Who I can't and think the Steelers haven't. That's why I always think it's funny how Steelers fans like, what are Lamar doing in the playoffs? What have the Steelers done in the playoffs since Lamar's been in the league?
Yeah.
About actually a little less.
A lot less.
They haven't won a game.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
He's holding on to that. I haven't had a losing record season. You don't win in the playoffs.
I mean, that's a hell of a stat, though.
It's good for you. Great.
You've never had a losing season. That's crazy.
That's great. You can do that all the time. I'm sure there's plenty of teams that would love that. Steelers aren't one of those teams, unfortunately.
It puts you in NFL purgatory because it means you're not good enough to win any type of playoff game, but you're also
not getting a good enough pick.
Get a quarterback. And
exactly.
Luck into Lamar Jackson at 32 overall. You know, not a lot of Heisman quarterbacks drop that far. And so I think they're kind of screwed unless they go out and get themselves they honestly just go with Justin Fields. But
that's what people point out. Their options this offseason are weak. There's not much in the free agency or the draft.
And I think you need, at least in this division, you need a quarterback that can run around a little bit. I think Russell Wilson kind of did it. I think Justin Fields is their best option. But if you go out and you get like who the Vikings just got, we're going to absolutely annihilate him.
Yeah.
Jared Goff gets picked for a 6th touchdown.
I'm sorry.
Woo. Sorry.
No, you're good. I think it's crazy with the Steelers fan base in general. And I think it's crazy because, again, I perused Twitter, X, whatever the fuck you're calling it this week. I'm seeing tweets from people, friends I know, calling for virtually the heads of, what the hell's his name? TJ Watt, calling for the heads of, PQ, obviously, get rid of this person, get rid of virtually if they started or they were leadership for a long time, get rid of them. Again, it's baffling to me, just the expectation. You got to be realistic at some point. Again, your team is getting to the playoffs. Yes, that's frustrating. That's frustrating as fuck to go one and done. But you're also talking about getting rid of, again, your defense is anchored by one person, TJ Watt. Without him, your defense is jack shit.
And you could tell jack shit because they has almost that. He ended the year.
Got bounced out of the game, statless.
He almost ended, He almost went 200 straight snaps without a stat at the end of the year.
Teams have figured out how to stop him, and it's just chip him, 2 guys hitting him, and then just pick someone else come and get me because they've got a really old defensive tackle. Yeah. I feel like we'll see a little bit of that on there, but I think it's exciting to see the Ravens getting ready for the Bills. It's gonna be really fun to see.
That's
It's a
gonna be fun.
football game on Sunday. I don't know if I'll watch it if we don't, but if we do, it's gonna be really fun to see how the Ravens got ready for this game.
No, it's gonna be very exciting. Again, Hard Knocks with the free will to just film whenever and put episodes out as they please. Incredible TV. No, right now, Chiefs took on the Houston Texans earlier today, and they did what the Chiefs do. Won't say too much, but they did
from the
what
refs.
the Chiefs do.
Sorry, what I say?
They had some striped teammates.
I mean, it was so bad that people were agreeing with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman because they were even calling out some of the ridiculousness.
LASIK put out a tweet saying they still offer free LASIK or games or whatever for referees. Like,
I mean, we had the rough in the past that even the booth was like, yeah, I didn't see nothing. We had the unnecessary roughness when he was running around like no one slid and they hit each other in the head.
So here's my question. Again, we live in 2025. It is the age of technology. I've asked this question on the show before, but again, how long before the NFL revolts? Again, there has to be something other than human officiating that we can rely on because
they have it. They don't use it right. Apparently, I just learned today they can go to video and review if it's like unnecessary or up. But apparently, the one was it had contact, even though it wasn't forcible. I didn't know they could even review those.
I think both plays had it that their helmets kind of touched Patrick Mahomes' helmet.
But Mahomes slid late the second one.
He hit his teammate harder than he hit Pat Mahomes. I know.
and then Mahomes goes and tries to flop.
You know who flopped more than anyone is Josh fucking Allen. Get ready for that shit.
And catch
Sunday night football.
Both times I saw Mahomes get hit, the one time he flopped, the one time he further go, you can only see his eyes make contact wherever going out. Like, hey, I got touched. And then what makes it worse, after he does the flop, he goes and makes the diving forward touchdown pass. I'm like, this is why we hate you, and also, damn it, you're good.
But I'll say this. I don't want it any other way. Like, I did not want to place the Houston Texans at home, as fun as that would be. If we could beat Buffalo, I'm not getting ahead of myself. But like, this is a destiny run, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah,
like, got so many fucking destinies on the line here and legacies, and there's no way Lamar Jackson can go in Buffalo and then have to fucking play the Houston Texans. Like, that's just like,
yes.
Like, he needs to go through Allen and Mahomes in a row.
The latter.
Let's to break it down. This is the path that most people wanted, but really didn't want, but wanted. It's not like they would have taken down the other path, but everyone was calling it like last week, like, who do you want? Do you want the Broncos or the Bills? Like, well, we don't want the Bills, but in your back of your head, you're like, I take the Broncos. Yeah. But yes, you're right. Now he basically has to go through the Steelers, his kryptonite, go into Buffalo. And if we take care of that, go into Kansas City. His playoff kryptonite, Harbaugh's playoff kryptonite.
It's very. I was talking to Gerald before the game, before we did this. I mean, it's very 2012, like when the Ravens played their old team, the Colts, and then turn around and have to go into Denver to play Peyton Manning, who has owned the Ravens, and then turn around and play Tom Brady, who has, a year after they knocked us out in the AFC Championship in New England, and then on a really like dramatic game. Like, it's the same situation. 12 years later.
I broke it down. His first Super Bowl, pretty much almost same run. Home playoff game, whatever. Had to go on the road. Had to play a top team. Also had a 28-year-old quarterback. Next time, had a home playoff game. 2 more games on the road. Super Bowl, 20-year-old quarterback. Home playoff game, going to be 2 on the road. You know how old Lamar is? 28.
And where's the Super Bowl this year?
New Orleans.
Damn.
That's what makes this one even funnier. The fact that it's 12 years later and it's back in the same place.
It's the exact same fucking.
I wish our first Super Bowl was in New Orleans. That would have been funner.
And I do think that of the 2 games left, I think the Bills Ravens is probably going to be a closer football game than I think Ravens Chiefs might be. Like what I saw today against the Texans.
Whoever wins this Bills Ravens game is gonna can easily go into Kansas City from what I saw today.
Mhm.
Agreed. Like we're talking about. You're talking about a Chiefs team that I think got blown out by Buffalo already. That got to the Ravens in game one when we had that was the first time Lamar Jackson ever handed it
By
off
this much.
in a playoff game. We barely lost. Like we didn't. No, Rashad Bateman really wasn't involved in that game, and our O line was a fucking shit show. Like we're getting a team that's coming in there and we're gonna run it down their throats.
Yep.
Like I think the Bills game is the game.
Yeah, I just watched Joe Mixon run it down Kansas City's throat, and if they had Houston had any confidence in other places, they could have won that game.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, but that's the game we need to get to, but we can't overlook the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Who I think everyone's calling this the game of the decade, the best divisional game in 5 years. Like, 2 MVP candidates. They put it in prime time for a reason. Like, holy shit, boys, we're gonna see a hell of a football game. And I do think Buffalo is going to look at the tape. They're a well-coached football team. They're going to look at that tape from week 4, and between that and the new players that they've got, and a probably better idea of how to attack us offensively, I think it's going to be a closer game.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
We're gonna see how it goes. I'm excited as fuck. This has been honestly probably one of the most fun playoffs that I've seen just so far. Even just the game we've had and the anticipation of tomorrow. It's been just an exciting postseason. I'm really excited. But we got to give a game ball to somebody. Actually, before I give that, currently, right now, the Commanders are playing the Lions. They're playing on Fox. What's the score, Ross?
I don't know. Jordan's watching.
Oh, yeah, Jordan's watching.
So this is what happened so far. I'll clue you in.
Let's go.
Golf, pick 6. Washington, touchdown throw to McLaurin. So it's 24 to something, 17, I think, and 24-21, and then
it got out of hand.
I think, and then Jared Goff got knocked out, concussion.
No.
Teddy Bridgewater hits Jameson Williams for a 75-yard touchdown pass.
Teddy Bridgewater, who just came out of retirement, like
holy shit! Didn't he win a state championship?
After winning the state championship, he's like, I want to play football now.
It was 24-14, and now it's 24-21.
Wow, I've missed a lot.
Back and forth game. They're just throwing the shit out of it back and forth.
The last time I saw it, it was like 7-0.
This game is gone. They're just throwing 75-yard bombs and picks.
It's only the second quarter, 20-21.
So no one's playing defense. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
I hope you took you over.
I hope so. That's fucking incredible. Tomorrow, so it's looking as crazy as the game as we thought. We thought it was going to be insane. We thought it was going to be chaos, and we are getting it. That is awesome.
This is like this is the second. It was a week after the first time both DC and Baltimore won a playoff game like forever. I don't even remember how long it was.
Then we got tomorrow, the Rams virtually fighting for all of LA right now, which our thoughts and prayers go out to them on that. Crazy shit going on there. They're taking on the Eagles at 3 p.m. on Peacock and NBC. That's going to be a crazy game. Again, I think we've had some conversation. I want to see the Eagles, but I don't want to talk too much. But I think the Eagles win that. I think the Eagles win that shit in Philly. I don't see that doesn't happen.
I work with too many Eagle fans. I need them to make me sad.
Then, of course, the main event title card match: Ravens versus Bills, 6:30, last game of the weekend on CBS Paramount Plus. Last time the Ravens played the Bills, of course, 35-10. Week 4, we won. Let's have some fun tomorrow. Straight up, it's gonna be cold. Fuck it, might as well have some fun. All on the line. Again, MVP candidate versus MVP candidate. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. It's going to be cold as shit. It's going to be old school football, and I love that.
Both teams right now have 268 yards of offense.
Are you serious?
Same amount of yards, yeah.
So that's another thing. Houston became like the first team to outgain their opponent by 100 yards and not turn the ball over and still lose.
When you play the refs, weird shit happens, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Something has happened.
What happened?
Oh yeah, Jaden Daniels just hit McLaurin for like a 75-yard bomb again. Since they're at the 5,
You.
they're just chucking it,
Oh shit.
and his eyes were covered, and it was a
You know what?
Yeah.
On that note, we're gonna give the game ball. Derrick Henry, rightfully so, 26 carries, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns. What it do? Let's run it back this week. Yeah, guys, we got a game ahead of us. It's going to be exciting. Again, I've said it week after week after week. Ravens football. We'll see what happens. Last words.
I think the Ravens either run it early or run it often, take the crowd out of it, and just establish dominance from the jump. Hit people. What did Lamar Jackson say last week? Hit everybody.
Hit the ref.
Don't hit the ref.
Don't hit the refs.
Yeah.
Like that's the mindset they've got to have, and I think they're going to bring that, that old school AFC North cold weather mentality up to Buffalo, and John Harbaugh is the all-time winningest coach on the road in playoffs. That shit goes back to Joe Flacco's era, so I think that's just the mindset they're going to have, and I'm excited to see on Hard Knocks how they got them ready for this week.
Yeah, it's going to be real exciting. Ross?
I'll say this is also a battle for whoever has the quarterback with most rushing yards in the postseason. I believe currently Josh Allen has slightly edged out Lamar.
5 more games.
Yeah, well, because that's what happens when you're a wild card merchant. That's why his stats are so much better. But
Yeah,
fun fact that I didn't realize until I saw. Did you know Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson made their debut against each other?
Yeah, I had heard that. That's crazy.
Yeah, week 1 of 2018 because Flacco was blowing the hell out of the Bills. It was the Bills again.
No.
It's crazy.
Flacco had 236 yards to Nathan Peterson's 24 in the third quarter.
It just pretty much said we've seen enough of you, sir.
Josh Allen came in, and also the Steelers-Ravens game was one of the highest viewed prime games ever.
How many have there been?
20.
Oh, that's true. Never mind.
What are we? A couple of seasons in?
I mean, it had
Have they done a playoff game before?
66 million
last week, right? No.
They usually get the opener, right? So they got the opener a couple years ago, and it was Ravens Lions, and then I think Ravens Chiefs was prime this past year.
Basically, this game was big as prime. So 24.66 million record peak viewership for prime, up 31% versus previous all-time high. 22.07 million average audience for the Steelers game.
I'm not surprised.
And it was 0.28% higher versus the best attendance on NFL Prime.
That's crazy.
But it's Thursday Night Football.
We do have somebody in the chat.
The Dolphins Jaguars.
Yeah, it beat Packers Lions from December 5th.
Yeah. We have Sarah Connor, go Ravens, saying, who do you think will win the Lions versus Commander game?
I'm going to say Lions.
Depends on what the Depends what the final score is in the last 2 minutes of the game because Jalen Daniels has for some reason lives in that moment.
That man lives for a 2-minute drill. Lives for a 2-minute drill.
About to go up 31.
Man, he already has 237 yards.
They're about to score again. It's going to be a 10-point game, and I trust Detroit in the second half.
Dan Campbell likes to get a little crazy, and maybe those injuries are finally going to catch up.
I think Washington's kind of getting lucky. I think a little bit. I'll pick 6, for instance.
It's
well, so you get to pick 6s in the playoffs. Expect to win.
Yeah,
shocker.
You open a game with a pick 6. That's crazy. No, I don't know. It's too close to call. I don't have a dog in the fight, and I'm too scared to call. But probably the Lions. I had their running back most of this season, fantasy. But no, final words though. Back to the Ravens. So play Ravens football. Been saying it week after week after week after week, and it's been working week after week after week. So keep doing it. I think as long as we come out the gates running hard and we're aggressive. If what did he say? If 10 people block someone, that's a touchdown. I don't know.
Touchdown.
That makes no sense. Well, I guess it kind of makes sense.
It kind of makes sense when you really think about it. But
Lamar Jackson's blocking, and I don't know
Lamar Jackson math says that works. So.
Lamar Jackson blocks people like you say by having 3 people run with him, and then he goes that way, and then Queen just has a depressed look on his face behind Derrick Henry.
Just completely fucking defeated.
I'm glad I switched sides for this.
Did you have Washington scoring 30 first half points?
No, I didn't have anyone start.
31. I'm sorry, Zach Ertz was.
They came to fucking play, bro.
I don't even. Just definitely whoever bet the overs like, sweet, oh, good. I can go to bed now.
It is amazing how polished Jaden Daniels is. Like, I don't think he'll ever be. I don't think his ceiling is Lamar Jackson, but his floor is so much better than Lamar Jackson's. Like when Lamar Jackson was a rookie, he was not doing this. We were just running it 95 times and throwing the market. Like he's fucking throwing 80. Granted, we didn't have McLaren, but like still, really impressive. And it took Lamar Jackson 6 years to be this good.
And that's fine.
No, I'm fine with it. Yeah. He's eating like wine.
Sarah asked if we're from Baltimore. Yes, we are from Baltimore. Faithful Baltimore fans. But no, yeah, Jaden Daniels is pretty impressive. Again, he reminds me, and I don't know, depending on which side of the fence you sit on, he's RG3 2.0. And I just
way better thrower. Way better thrower,
but RG3 2.0. That's honestly what I think. But that does it for our show, though. Yep, my camera battery died. That's crazy. We went a long time. But no, that does it for our show tonight. Today, Baltimore Ravens versus the Bills tomorrow. Let's get loud. Let's have some fun. Some party in Buffalo.
Yep.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will be back next week to recap and see what happens. Take care and